Hey boo buddies, Anya here. Welcome to part one of my new series of how I put together a picture book and a look inside my story Bible. So to start, you'll notice that I have a binder, not a notebook. I find it very liberating and helpful to be able to take pages out and rearrange them as I see fit. So we're going to start with a blank page and we're going to set up a brand new story idea. So I'm keeping the supplies pretty simple so far, just a Mildliner, a straight edge, and a couple colors to keep it interesting. This first or opening page is going to be kind of the project overall outline or the paratext page where all the things that are not the story go and they're just in a quick glance. So when you are building a picture book, unlike a book that is mostly text like a novel, you kind of need to answer some questions before you get too far in. They're not story related, but you just kind of have to know some of these answers. And filling this out actually helps me answer a lot of story and plot ideas as I go. So one of the first things that's going to go in my paratext project page is the place for all my title ideas, and if this doesn't already have a title that I have in mind, then this is where I'm going to drop any keywords or any things that I want to use in the title, and later I will use this for when I'm marketing the book, because a lot of the keywords will be there even if they don't make it to the final title. So this is a really great thing to have in one place. The next space I'm going to put on this page is a space for all of the illustrations that need to be dreamed up, and this one's a little hard to put in a small space, but it's just a quick note of, as the story develops, you kind of get an idea of, oh, we'll need a picture that has these elements or a picture that shows this somewhere. And it's really hard to explain how to drop those notes. You kind of just have to figure it out. But you do need to keep notes and keep track of specific visual elements that need to show up in your illustrations when you're telling a story with pictures. So I'm just going to make a little space for those notes as well. This is also important because you need to know how many illustrations you're going to need. So you kind of need to know how many pages your picture book is going to be, especially if you're hiring an illustrator or working with a collab, because they need to know exactly how many, and if you're hiring them, you need to know how many you're paying for, and you want that as clear as possible, because if you have to do redos, that might not be included in your package. So this is a really important thing to know before you get started, is how many illustrations and what elements you need to make sure are included. This next space I am labeling as character, but it's really the 5W questions of your story, the who, the where, the when, and all of the whatnots. It's not how, it's the whatnots, because the how is the story itself, and that's not what we're doing here. This is just kind of to give an idea of who is the story about, what kind of story is this about, the feeling that we want to engage in. So like the genre of story, even if you don't have one specifically picked, you'll get kind of the idea of what's going on by answering these questions. And I do like to have that in the same space as all of these other notes. So just like the title section, this is not where we name the characters. This is not where we make decisions about the characters. This is just kind of the idea of, we are looking for this kind of character, and where they are, and all of those specific details will come later, and they get their own pages. The last section that I always really want to put here, and this is probably one of the more important ones, is my book specs. And what I mean by that is this is where I need to know how many pages, how big the pages are going to be, what size of book am I making, what style of book is this? Is this a chapter book? Is this a picture book? Is this a early reader book? And what my word count goals, what my word count minimum, what my word count maximums can be, just so that I have a reference to check in with myself as I am drafting and editing the story. So that's also why it's kind of the smallest part, is there's really not a lot of things there, but I do need to know what they are, and I need to know, I need to reference back to them quite a bit. So to finish off this page, I'm just going to kind of make the sections a bit more defined. I'm not being too decorative because I like to keep these pages pretty neat as I fill them out, and keep it very clean so that I can read the information, because this is a reference page. And that is my Paratext project page, getting a new project started. Thank you for joining me in the first part of this new series, and I hope you guys found some inspiration for your own projects, and I will see you in the next one, Boo Buddies.